So I've toshed the chassis leg together as well as I'm going to, and what I've done on my jig is remove this bush mount thing, taken the bolt out and turned it round so that it's just poking through. I've done that so that once this is fitted with the bracket sitting on here, well, I know that everything's where it wants to be. I can pop inside the car, up the ladder, bosh the nuts on the top of this to bolt it, or clamp this to the leg and the bracket, so I know it can't move, it's exactly where it wants to be, and then I can tack it all together. If I'd left the bolt round the correct way with it from the outside, you can't remove it when the subframe's up in the car because the bracket gets in the way. So with it that way round, I know that is still where it wants to be, but it means I can pop that bolt out and drop the jig whilst leaving that in the car. Well, that's the plan anyway. Jotun, this is lovely stuff. You want to put the hardener in it, mix it all in, and then just walk away and leave it for sort of 10 minutes. Just let it activate and do its thing. It has been 10 minutes, So we're going to go and slap some on various bits of stuff. I'm going to put some Jotun on the cylinders. I'll clean them up as best I can. They are a bit pitted, but in the hope of preventing them from getting further pitted, I am going to slap a thin coat of Jotun on each. This one I've sort of masked the sphere. I'm not very good at masking, but that's the sphere that's going back on the car. This one I've not bothered masking because I had a duff old sphere kicking about. I'll try gassing this one, it didn't want to know. So I don't really care if I paint over that one, because who cares? It's scrap. So it saves having to mask it. So let's move the beer out of the way. Don't really want to paint that with Jotun. Another Wilco special. Thank you, Wilco. Oh, look at that. Liquid gold, this stuff. And with what it costs, it kind of literally is. It is very expensive. This put up a little bit of a fight. It still needs a lot of lanishing, and it will want the skimmer filler, much like the other side. But you know, at least this bit is just perfect because it's all one panel. That's the neatest repair I've ever done because I didn't repair it. But anyway, it didn't really want to fit very well, which is weird because it did when I trial fitted it, but when it came to it didn't. The reference I had was that line and that line. So we actually stretched it a bit, so we tacked it around the top because we knew that's where it wanted to be because it followed quite nicely, and then kind of beat this panel a bit, stretched it over, clamped it, welded it across the bottom. The weld is not the neatest. I had all sorts of trouble with the MIG. It just didn't want to. I've had all sorts of wire feed issues, and I thought it was the real. I'm beginning to think there might be something wrong with the MIG. So I might have to take it apart and have a look at that. That'll be a nice dull video, won't it? But anyway, all this needs lanishing. All the spot welds need lanishing. But it's on. It ain't going to fall off. The fit's really nice. The wing fits really nicely on it. The sill skirt sits nicely on it. Everything fits. That line's perfect. I'm pretty happy with that, actually. I mean, that's just going to want the tiniest bit of filler. In fact, I could probably just paint it and get away with it, but I'll try and fit it because it would be nice to make it look nice, because it's the bits that you see when the door is open. But anyway, that all went relatively well. We did this yesterday. I didn't record any of it. I wasn't even supposed to be here yesterday, but the NHS sometimes is wonderful, and got that in early, so I could escape up here and do a bit more. I've still got this hole to fill. I did fill the hole down here, although there's a couple of pinholes in it that need doing. So that will need filling. That is, it's not corrosion, that is just purely where I made a right pig's ass of drilling the wing off. But that's easy enough to fill. I shall employ my now well-used piece of flat copper and just hold it behind, weld the hole up, job done, because of course the weld won't really stick to the copper. So there's some joke nightly slung on that. I haven't done all of it because I'm going to do that with just epoxy 2-pack, spray it. But I'm going to do the whole surround. But I wanted to get this bit done because with that protected, then I can put the C-pillar trim back on, or the panel. I can glue that on. That's one more bit done. Because I've still got some spot welds to put in to tack this to my new bottom bit of panel. That weld needs cleaning up, it's terrible. And it turns out this is welding in the dark. I completely missed the hole, so I've got to redo that bit. Welding in the dark isn't much fun. And then once that's done, I can Bonder prime all of this, and then once that's gone off, I've painted underneath. So I can then run the Tiger Seal around absolutely every bloody seam. The bracket for the breather thing is completely cream crackered, but I'm going to do on this what I did on Dad's and delete that because it's just a mud trap. And what I did on Dad's was make a bracket that went around the filler neck. Well, actually I used a Jubilee clip around the filler neck with a piece of metal off of it that I could then clamp the breather to, so that'll take care of that. Next job, I have to reuse this wing. I don't want to reuse this wing. This wing is quite badly damaged, it's quite rusty. I made a right pig's ear of drilling the welds off, and there's just enormous holes to fill. Down the back end it's actually torn right through, so filling them is going to be entertaining. It's rusted through here. I could cut a piece out of another wing to weld in here. I'm not quite, I might have a go at just blobbing the holes in. I'll see how I get on with that, I don't know. But the biggest issue with this wing, apart from it being every shape known to man, but the whole bottom corner's completely rotted away. It's not there anymore. And the only sensible way to fix that, short of replacing the wing, which I can't, because I can't get one, despite somebody selling repro wings, they don't seem very keen to sell them to the UK. But anyway, so I need to fix this. The only sensible way to fix that is to take this off, because I need to see what damage there is behind. I mean, this whole bit is quite rusty, so I'm going to have to take the wheel spat off. I'm also going to have to take the little trim off, or I will take the little trim off because it's damaged at the end anyway. I nicked that with a grinder many years ago, the first time I took this wing off. I have a replacement, that's not a problem. So I will take that off. You know, I'm starting to feel less bad about my own painting skills, of which I have none. But look at the crinkles in that. The orange peel in it is really bad. And this is a genuine original wing. This is the wing the car left the factory with. So that is factory paint. You can actually see the dents in it. I'll try and get them out, but look at the orange peel. It's absolutely horrific. So, you know, although I am not a painter, I am on a painted Dad's car. It was, the weather was not conducive for it. But it didn't look a lot worse than that. First thing to do, I'm not going to be too careful about removing this, because it's not going back on. It might do another turn. I mean, that could probably be repaired by someone that knows what they're doing. I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm not going to worry about it. Runs out of MOT today, and I never thought when I started this in April I'd still be doing this now. And I mean, we're what we know, halfway through September, more than halfway through September. But that's how life goes, isn't it? So these little pegs secure it to the wing. They're only really there for when the thing's first fitted. You just do them up whilst the Sikaflex, well, Citroen's version of Sikaflex goes off. That one undid. Amazing. This one. Ooh, do you know what? I think that one did as well. Yeah, look at that. That never happens. And this is, again, the wheel side of the wing. I mean, these just corrode from the day they go on. They're untreated steel. So, anyway, so the next thing to do really is make it all very hot. Probably get some welding gloves or something, because this is it's likely to be very fucking warm. Oh yeah, that's really warm. Okay, I'm not too worried about deforming the wing because it's quite knackered anyway, and it's easy to reshape these because this I think is 0.9. There's no structure to it. Probably no bad thing to get this off anyway, because there's quite a lot of crap in there. So I've got a bit in that corner. Trick with this is to get heat into it, but preferably without damaging the glass fibre. If I do damage the glass fibre, it's not entirely the end of the world, because I do have more spats. But obviously I'd rather not damage it if I can help it. Oh, there you go. Slowly, slowly, catchy monkeys. easy. And there's indeed quite a lot of crap in there, and nil damage. Job's a good one. So the wing is now very hot and slightly out of shape. Oh, the wing's really hot. Really, really hot. Not too worried about the shape of it. Like I said, these are really easy to form. So I've got some corrosion in there. Not quite sure how best to deal with that. I might actually cut a piece out another wing, because trying to blob that in, it's actually quite corroded. I'll show you in a sec once it's cooled down. Most of it is savable, to be fair. It's only really quite bad down in this corner, so I think if I can cut this corner out of it and just weld the one off the other wing in the bottom, which does at least have some shape, then I think that'll probably, well, I'll have to do another turn. I don't have a choice. Corrosion in here, it's actually gone around both the little cutouts where the fuel flap is screwed to it. It doesn't look horrendous, but there are pinholes in it, and it's quite a lot of bubbling. So realistically, I think I might just chop a bit out the other wing and let a bit in there. A paint job David Blunkett would scoff at, but that's okay. I will whip it over next time I'm here and then paint all the bits I can't get to with it that way round. I should have actually started it the other way round, but you know, old age, whatever. But yeah, so I'll whip it over, slap some paint on the other side next time I'm here, and then when that's gone off, I'll probably slap another coat on this side and then do the same. And whilst that is going off, I have some pipes to make, and the rear wheel calipers to overhaul, and the rear height corrector to overhaul, all of which is in here. God, it's really dark in here. The light doesn't work. But anyway, so I've got the rear arms. I've got to clean them up and paint them. I'm not going to do the arm bearings because they're okay, so they can go back on. It can have new discs and pads. I'll get them cleaned up and painted. The anti-roll bar that you can't see because it's pitch black. But anyway, there's loads and loads and loads. All your bits for the rear subframe are here. So I've got lots to do there. So that'll be a job for next time as well. Along with that hole. And then I'm going to chop that lot out, replace that. Then I'm going to get the wings on, and then I'm going to make the outriggers, just so that, you know, the wings are the correct shape and held in the correct place. So that will be whenever I'm here next, and then hopefully I can get the rest of the crap off the inner tubs and get all of this into paint, and then yeah, you know, maybe chuck the fuel tank back in it and then get the rear subframe in it, and I can start putting the thing back together. And at the very least, I was going to just get the subframe in it and not worry about the wings and all the rest of it, because I'd quite like to get the car off the ramp. However, given that it doesn't take that long to actually get the wings welded on, and if I get all the welding done in one hit from here, well, maybe 2 hits, whatever, then I can just prep all of this for paint in one go and just blow the whole thing over in one hit with some epoxy 2-pack. And also, if I get all the welding done before I put the fuel tanks back in, then there's less chance of having a massive fire and destroying everything I've done, because it's been a lot more effort than I anticipated. So anyway, on that score, I am going to go home and have a beer and a Chinese. So I'll see you in the next one.